So the basic idea I'd like to share with you today is the following. So we're going to talk about what social marketing is. I'm going to introduce to you what social marketing is, how this can be used to change health behaviors, to sell health behaviors, and then how this does work. So we'll keep questions, please, at the end of the session. Okay, so just to start, the idea, as Dr. Avla suggested, is can we really sell behaviors, right? So if you think about me, if you look in your purses or in your pockets, you have mobile phones, you have clothes, of course, you are all dressed, and you bought them, right? You bought them. You went to a shop because you had a need. I had to buy new shoes. You went to a shop, you got the shoes. The idea behind this is that in 1971, so a long time ago now, two researchers, Kotler and Zaltman, suggested that we could think about ways of selling behaviors as if we sell soap, or as if we sell water, bottles, okay? So they said, well, basically, why can't we sell brotherhood as a concept, as if we could sell soap? What if we sold presidents, like the United States, yes, as if they were products, which is basically true, but this is happening all the time. It happens, we know. Everywhere, not only in this country, everywhere. Now, let's say, what do political communication and commercial marketing, let's say, the selling of products have in common? That basically you can sell cigarettes, soap, steel, or any kind of product the same way, with the basic, using the same principles, as if you can sell social issues. Think about social issues like voting, for example, voting behavior. We can promote voting behavior and say, especially among the young generations, we can tell them, remember that it's important to exert this right. It's important for you to go and actually exert your right and vote for someone. Whatever candidate you're supporting, go vote. This is an example of social issue. Now, let me tell you first what social marketing is not, so that I can explain what social marketing is. Now, I'm not going to talk about social media marketing, so I'm not going to talk about social media, the use of social media for selling products, which is maybe the objective of another session, yeah? But let me tell you why. Because social media is a channel, it's an instrument to communicate a message. Many of you might have Facebook, many of you might use other tools to communicate or to keep, let's say, in network or receive the information from the University for Seniors. Maybe some of you use email more than and social networking sites. But these are tools that allow us to communicate, to spread our message among a bigger crowd, more people, right? This is one element that we can use in social marketing to spread our messages. But social media marketing is not social marketing. Because social media marketing is the use of marketing techniques, branding techniques, to sell products or diffuse an idea using social media. Now, this is the definition of social advertising. Because what you saw, it's an advertisement, it's a commercial, a spot, TV spot, that uses advertising to inform the public about a social issue, which is in this case, climate change, the problem of the environment. And the aim of that was to influence our behavior, eventually. But what is the behavior? You all said very true behaviors. Are we, supposed to litter less or not litter? Are we supposed to reduce the quantity of food that we eat? All these behaviors contribute to the climate, right? But what is specific about that? It's not clear, okay? So this is advertising. We raise our attention. It was very touchy to see this poor polar bear browsing around in this, polluted city in Europe, perhaps. So this is a definition of social advertising. Now, I bring you another example of a campaign that I am supporting. It is called Movember. I brought here a cash, let's say, box. Then it runs every year globally. It's a campaign about raising awareness about men's health. Movember stands for mustache, so I'm trying to grow my mustache in the month of November, just to raise awareness, because I want to change the face of men's health. This is one of the claims of the campaign. So they want to focus on prostate cancer, testicular cancer prevention, and promoting mental health also awareness, and also at the same time try to prevent those cancers by doing more physical activity, be more aware about what the ways we can be more active and prevent these things. So every year I support this campaign, and this year I also try to involve more AUB students, faculty, staff. We run some, we organize some events, and we have a group if you want to support, so please at the end. This is advertising, by the way, it's not social marketing, this is real advertising. So I'm supporting the cause, you know, if you want to contribute. Now, this is an example of a non-profit marketing. Non-profit marketing is the use of activity or strategies to for a non-profit organization. In the case of Movember, is the Movember Foundation, which is a non-profit organization based in Australia, but they have seats or headquarters around the world. And then they want to spread the message and solicit donations and call for volunteers. This is what they do. They want to raise funds for cancer research. Full stop. This is the ultimate goal of Movember Foundation. So what we try to do is collect funds. In this case, we collect funds for the Needy Patient Fund for the Naif Basil Cancer Research Institute. But at the same time, so we collect funding for some causes, for a purpose. We want to collect money so that we can invest in research and find the solutions to these problems. In the case of Movember, prostate and testicular cancer. Now, and this is the source where I took this definition. Now, the common aspects of non-profit marketing and social advertising are the following. So they want to raise awareness, they want to inform us about, they want to increase our knowledge about an issue, okay, about a social issue, and the behavior they promote is to support the cause. Support the cause, show your support by contributing, take your money out and give us money, support by donation, or share the message, so spread awareness about that. Now, is this really a behavior we want to change? Let me tell you, it's one element. I mean, yes, I mean, no, it's not only that. Yes, it is one part of the chain, let's say. We want to promote behavior change in a different way. Now, there are many ways in which public decision makers can make us do what they want or what they think is good for us. Now, taxes is one example. This is an example from the UK, but I know that probably you've heard of the idea of introducing taxation for products like sweet beverages like Coca-Cola, Fanta, and so on, so that people stop using them or decline their use. All right. So there's some evidence showing that by doing this, these are reviews from the literature showing that we can indeed change obesity, let's say, reduce the risk of obesity by increasing the taxes of these products. This is one way to do so. All right, one way. It does start to show some evidence of effectiveness, which means that if we increase taxes for other goods, people stop using them. Because they say, well, I'm thinking twice. If I have to buy a bottle of Coke and it costs $10, maybe my nephews is better off drinking some water. I can prepare a tea for them. You know, it would be much cheaper than actually buying the product in the end, okay? There are four main ways in which the public decision makers, the governments, like to affect our behavior as citizens. Let me show you in this quadrant here. So here we have active decisions. This is when I decide, yes, I will do this. I purposely want to do this. Or I passively decide, which means I don't even realize that something happens to me. There's also here on this line, we have the incentives. So what I can get out of it, or disincentives, a punishment. You know, the principle of carrots and sticks, right? The carrot, if you're good, the stick if you're bad. So the first one is the hug principle, hug, all right? So for example, you receive a financial reward for not smoking. Think about it. You want to quit smoking. There's a smoking cessation program that is given for you for free. This is a hug. I mean, the institution or the university, I don't know, you are the healthcare provider you are paired to, decides to give you this incentive. You have a reward, you don't pay anything. Okay. Second is the smack, a kiss, okay? So, I receive a penalty, a fine, I have to pay if I smoke. If I smoke in a smoking-free area. Of course, not if I smoke in general. So in this case, it's like a smack. Actually, it's not a kiss. In this case, it's a smack on the face. It's like, hey, you're not supposed to do this. You know, if you do this, you pay. Easy, right? Easy, relatively easy. It's not that pleasant. Then there's a shove. When you have, for example, the smoking areas in restaurants or in airports are very unpleasant. You cannot sit, you cannot even stand because they are so small. They are crowded and, you know, they are not. Have you ever been in a smoking area in airports? Yeah. In airports are dreadful. I mean, I'm not a smoker, but I will never go inside there, whatever happens to me. No, they try to make it harder for you to smoke. I mean, it's your choice in the end, but at the same time they say, well, you know, you should not do it. Let us make it difficult for you. The last example here is the so-called nudge, which is a gentle push. Gentle. For example, the default is a tobacco-free area. So let's say, well, you know that this campus will become a tobacco-free from January next year, 2018. So the default, the policy will be no smoking whatsoever, everywhere. No smoking, no questions asked. That's it. That's the default. There will be no selling products. I don't know if you heard the news a couple of days ago. The Pope Francis in Rome, in Vatican City, decided not to sell any more cigarettes. Okay, the Pope is the head of the state, and he said, "Halas, no more smoking, no more cigarettes sold in Vatican City." Unfortunately, Vatican City is a small city within Rome. I don't know if you've been there. So, okay, it maybe affect a few people, but it's still, you know, it's an example. The Pope is an example that goes beyond the boundaries, okay? So, but it's an example to say clearly, we will not sell cigarettes here. They are not allowed. That's a nudge. They want to change the default. Let me give you another examples of this. So this is Richard Thaler, the man smiling here. He's smiling because he received the Nobel Prize for Economics this year. And he smiles because his book is reaching high numbers of sales. And this book explains this principle of nudging to provide a gentle push. They talk about the so-called principle of choice architectures that decision makers like governments should take into consideration so that everybody could change. Everybody in quotation marks, of course. Their idea is that what if we change the environment? What if we change the way we live so that we voluntarily change behavior? Now, I'll give you other examples. So, for example, if in a cafeteria, here with Homer Simpson, instead of junk food, instead of McDonald's, instead of fast food, we find fruits and vegetables, what would happen to our children? Would they more likely to get them, to buy them, or to eat them? Yeah, probably. More likely. Again, we talk about likelihood. It's not certain. So here, the idea is that we change the environment again. We change what is available. Imagine Bliss Street, remove all the shops, replace them entirely with fresh produce, right? Carrots, cucumber, and I don't know what, apples, and remove the coffee shops and so on. People would, that's the only thing available. Oh, okay, fine. It's not that nice, you know, to eat a carrot, but at the same time, I'm hungry, I need to eat, I will get that, okay? So this is the idea behind this nudge principle. Now, there's another example from Sweden. This comes from Sweden. I'm not sure if you've seen this. There's a few years ago, they circulated a video about that on the internet. So the idea here is that to incentivize the use of stairs in a metro in Stockholm, they built a piano system. So when you step on a step, you made a sound, as if it was a piano. It was nice. No, it's a nice movie. It's very interesting. And in fact, they show in the video that in that day, in one day, they managed to increase the use of stairs 60% in one day. Okay, imagine that. If that happened in our city, where, I don't know where it could be, but, Anyway, so by in AUB, but it's plenty of places. You can browse very freely here. We don't need this incentive. Now, that's interesting. You see how we change the environment to make people find the behavior fun, because this is the idea behind it. It's the so-called fun theory. But do you know who's behind this fun theory? I mean, do you know which organization is behind this? No, not Greenpeace. Movember, no, it's not behind that. Unfortunately not. Bill Gates, maybe. Close, let's say close. No, unfortunately it was not the government. It's a company. No, not me. No, not me. I'm not it's not even Apple. Steve Jobs. So Apple, Steve Jobs, no, unfortunately not. No. I will tell you now. I want to hear more. A health organization. No, unfortunately not. Not a health organization. I will tell you. Volkswagen. Wow. Oh, Volkswagen. How many of you have got a Volkswagen? Very few. Well, a couple of. Okay. I also used a Volkswagen. I used to. After I saw that. No, I'm joking. Now, do you know that Volkswagen had issues about selling products that were not aligned with the European regulations for emissions and so on? But let's leave that aside. That was not a cover of the story. It was just part of their activities to show their care about the environment. Okay, but as you noticed, so it's not right about health. They did this, the piano stairs. They did other initiatives about the use of to collect bottles. So they made a machine that plays a sound, so to incentivize people to throw bottles in the machine instead of throwing them on the streets. They made a garbage that played a sound like this, so that people were puzzled and said, let's try to do it, and made it as a game, so that people throw garbage in the bin instead of outside the bin. Again, it's all related to the environment because they care about the environment. Does it really happen? No, not really. So this is so-called corporate social responsibility. It's a tentative to do corporate social responsibility. Public relations, right? They want to cover up, to clean their mess, but they say, we want to show our nice side, all right? So the problem with these approaches is that the behavior they promote are not sustainable. Think about the stairs for a moment. You have to go to their staircase and to sound the piano. What if you find another staircase that doesn't have the piano? Would you use it? No, it's not fun. It's not nice. I mean, I would rather take the elevator as I used to do. So is it sustainable? No, because I only go there where it's needed. No. So, and then where's the voluntarity? Think about taxes. I don't want to pay more taxes. Why would I pay more? Why would I pay more to get what it's my right, let's say? So what is social marketing eventually? So finally I'm telling you what social marketing is. Well, it's an approach. It's not a theory. It's an approach that seeks to develop and integrate marketing concepts, so there's a marketing there, with other approaches, such as the ones we just saw, to influence behaviors that benefit individuals and communities, because we are part of a community, yeah? For the greater social good. That's the difference between advertising, between non-profit organization, marketing, and between the corporate social responsibility that I showed before. So here, it's not Volkswagen that benefits, it's us. It's the society that benefits. Okay, so this is a definition, it's a consensus definition that has been developed in 2013 from three international organizations of social marketing. I am part of the European Social Marketing Association, and I've been involved in the definition of this, of social marketing. I will make available the slides in the end, so if you want to, I will give everything, of course, with all the references, yeah. So again, yeah, marketing concepts, benefit for individuals for the social good. Now, social marketing is also based on ethical principles. And here I bring you the concept of voluntarity. I'm not going to force you to do anything. I want to understand what makes you realize that's good for you. Therefore, I can suggest the ways that you can take or not, but it's up to you. Social marketing will not force change without you voluntarily accepting it. Okay? We want to do programs that are effective, efficient, equitable, and sustainable, because we care about the environment, yes, too. We do care about our planet. Now, here are examples of initiatives where social marketing has been used. These are brands, of course, these are just ideas. The hard truth is about heart awareness. Click it or ticket is to incentivize people to buckle up when they drive, so to use the seatbelt. Rock the vote to increase voting, yes, of course. Change for life, I'm gonna talk about it more in depth now. I'm gonna show you also a couple of videos. Verb is to promote physical activity among the youth. Truth is about smoking cessation. It's a counter-marketing initiative in the US, very big in the US. Save the crabs, then eat them. It's an initiative in, I think, it's in the US again, I don't remember exactly where. And they had these blue crabs, this population of blue crabs coming, from the ocean, and they were concerned about the pollution of the coastline. So they did an initiative to save the crabs so that you can eat them. So you save the pollution, you remove the pollution from the area, so you can eat something good. Tax for Baby is for women who have children, pregnant women, so how to raise your child. It's a service, text message-based service. Energy Star, probably from TV or computers that you have at home. It's an initiative showing how to reduce the emissions and the consumption of energy. Healthy Teeth, Healthy Kids is again for promoting oral health among the youth. Ready, Set, Go, 5210. This is the 5 fruits and vegetables a day, 2 hours TV screen, 1 hour, at least 1 hour per day of physical activity, 0 beverages. Again, C210. Love Livestock Pay, this is an example from Switzerland. It's a campaign to increase the use of condoms for sexual health. And this is another example of Smokey the Bear to reduce wildfires. You know that wildfires are a big problem in the US. This is another example of a campaign that tried to reduce the number of wildfires or fires that are not controlled. Now, the question is, can social marketing, the second part, can social marketing influence behavior?
Yes.
Right. Yes. Okay, I'm going to clarify. The question was, what's the difference between social marketing and social influence? Social marketing has the scope, the primary objective to influence society, to influence our behaviors, and to change the society as we live in, to improve the society. So say social marketing is the mean towards the end, which is social influence. I don't know if that answers your question.
Medium.
Say?
The medium.
It's a medium, yes. It's a way so it's a process, a procedure that we can put together to say, I will show you what it entails in a few moments. But it's a process to achieve social influence, social change. The influence is based on principles that I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. I wanted to just show you this approach because they have different, as I said, different target groups, different segments of the population. The second video I showed you, it's a more targeting to young population. So of course, if you heard that the voices of a young child, probably a young woman, let's say a girl, talking about the swapping, instead of drinking sugary drinks, find something else. Again, it's all based, so they develop this, the identity of this campaign based on these characters, all colorful. They don't represent any gender specifically, so they appeal to anyone, at least in their idea, of course. They appeal to anyone, and they wanted to also to base, the whole campaign is based on a strategy that is being developed and maintained by the government. So this is the Department of Health, like the Ministry of Health of the UK. Now, the social marketing, according to several reviews, systematic reviews and meta-analysis, has been shown elements of effectiveness in changing behavior, and specifically about this behavior, so promoting physical activity, increasing the number of fruits and vegetables, so healthy foods, and decreasing the risk of obesity. But now the question for you is, yes, we can influence behaviors, but the question is now becoming, how can we influence behaviors? So I'm going to now talk to you about how does social marketing work. So based that we found out that it's working, how does it work? So here is the basic principle. So we do social marketing initiatives or campaigns, the examples we saw, the Change for Life. We design the campaign, we do the messages. So people are exposed to these messages, they see the advertisement, they find the leaflets, they meet the right people, they become aware, right? Then something happens in their head, in a sense that they change the beliefs, they change the misconceptions they might have, they have increased knowledge, they know more about it. Oh, I didn't know that Coca-Cola, in a bottle of Coca-Cola there were 20 spoons of sugar, if more actually. I didn't know that, so now next time I'll think twice, okay? Then you change a belief, and after that, you are more likely to change the behavior. So you're more likely to stop drinking sugary drinks, you are more likely to do more physical activity and so on. Now, this is the approach generically. Social marketing is based on six principles that I would like you to remember, to think about. So it's a systematic planning process. I will explain each one of them in a few moments. It's focused on behavior. It's also customer oriented, customer or citizen. We are citizens, we are customers of different services. So it's based on us, it's made for us. It's based on research and theory. So it's scientifically sound, evidence-based. Considers the competition. I will show you what it means by competition. And it's based on the marketing mix. The marketing mix is a concept from marketing, from commercial marketing. I will show you what it means again. Now, number one, it's a planning process. So some researchers, a colleague of mine from the UK suggested that this model is the so-called Stella. It sounds like Stella in Italian means star, but it does just an acronym which stands for scope, test, enact, learn and act. Scope means you need to understand what the problem is. Now let's assume we want to, give me an idea, what you would like to do, let's say in Beirut.
Change politics.
Oh, okay, okay, yes, fine, okay. Let's try to do that. Change politics. But we need to understand what do you mean by change politics?
Election.
Okay, but you want to promote the...
We want to change all
We want to send them on holiday. We want to send them on holiday permanently. Okay, let's say, okay, without going to the politics of it, but let's say we want to, for the sake of the example, okay, we want to rock the vote. We want to encourage young generations to vote for someone, not a specific party, for someone, for this example. We want to understand how many people are actually voting. And who are those who do not vote? Where are they? What are they thinking? Why aren't they going to vote? What are their barriers? Why they don't see it as important? What's the problem there? So this is the first part. We try to understand our target group. So we might decide we want to focus on the citizens of Beirut from the age of 18 to 20. Because we know that we do some research, we do some homework, we find out that that segment, so the 18 to 20, are the least voters. And he said, we want to focus on them.
They don't vote.
Okay, sorry. So for example, see, I come from a different country, so they don't vote until 22? They don't vote until 21. Okay, so we want to focus on the 22-25, for example, because we know from research that those are the least voters. We want to try to change their behavior. We want to make them vote. All right, we want to motivate them. Then we say we develop some solutions. First of all, we need to understand from them why aren't they doing it. So we want to maybe interview them, we want to understand, we want to do a survey, maybe asking, why aren't you voting? What's the problem here? What are the incentives we can get? Maybe, we can get, say, if you go to vote, you get a chocolate bar. Maybe it will create other problems later on, but let's say, for the moment, we identify that this is the motivation. They want to have money, for example. The government might think, well, do we have a budget for this? Can we give every voter $5? Maybe yes, maybe not. Maybe not. But let's say it could be an idea. Instead of spending money for the campaign, we devote part of the budget to incentivize the vote. We test, we pilot it. We say, okay, this year, this next elections, we're gonna test this approach. We're gonna give $5 to each new voter from the 22, 25 years of age. Okay. We enact, so we want to implement this, and we want to analyze if it's effective or not. So did we increase after the election? Did we increase the number of voters? Yes or no? To what extent they increased or not? Therefore, okay, we say we should do it in other parts of Lebanon. Let's do it also in Sur. Let's do it in Tripoli. Bear in mind, of course, that there are differences. I mean, besides the cultural or the political background, we need to identify also the issues there. So we cannot just say, oh, let's replicate everywhere. We need to understand what are the barriers and the beliefs of the population there. It might be that the population from 2025 are the guys that vote most. So we don't need to focus on them. We need to find another segment. But the approach should be the same. We go there to try to understand what motivates people to do the behavior and find the strategies to do so. Then we learn and act, and we evaluate a report, and if make decisions to change, we go back to the scoping and in its iterative process. So in other ways, it's all based on research. This is a process that starts from the planning, goes to the selection of channels. So it could be saying even, we want to use social media, we want to do a campaign entirely on Facebook, or even, I don't know, Snapchat, Instagram, I don't know what the youngsters use here. Materials, we develop materials, we try to craft the message that motivates people to vote, okay? Regardless of the political party, we implement and then we evaluate, we assess. Therefore, we give feedback to the plan again. Okay, so these are, 6 steps, but they're all informed by research. So every decision is justified. We need to do a lot of work. As a homework, we need to understand the behavior here. Now, the focus on behavior. So it has to be, we have to define the behavior. That's why my question to you was, what do you mean by changing the government? We want to change the government. Do we want to, in the example I made, we want to make people go to vote? It's a very specific example because the change of a government implies different type of behaviors, of course. Now, when we try to define the scope of a social marketing campaign, a social marketing initiative, we need to be specific in saying, what is the behavior that we are trying to promote? Are we promoting healthy eating? What does it mean? What does it mean? Here an example, eat 5 fruits or 5 portions of fruit and vegetables every day. This is one example. Now, the different school of thought, some people say even 7, even 9. I'm not going there, but it's an example. Should we promote the Lebanese Mediterranean diet? Yes, we should. We should because it's good. The evidence shows that it's a good diet. What does it mean, though, Lebanese Mediterranean diet? It's complex. Okay, we need to be more specific. More vegetables, yes. But
Olive oil.
olive oil instead of saturated fats or other saturated fats. But yeah, but let's say mujaddara, could it be good to say? The beans,
Not cooked olive oil.
not cooked, yes, not fried, right, for example. No, so there are examples, but you see, there are many different type of behaviors. If we want to be to the point, we need to be specific. We need to say, every time you cook your meat, don't use olive oil, use it for the fatouche. I don't know, something like this. Or labne. Okay, so think about something like this. You use labne instead of the other cheesy fat. I don't know, fat, cheesy food. It could be move right when you hear a siren. It should be helpful even to here. When I drive here, I don't know where to go. If I hear a siren, I don't know. Should I go left? Should I go right? If I was in Europe, I know where to go. You know, when I drove in Europe, I know where to go. I stop, I go right. You know, here, where? I don't know. I have to avoid other cars and avoid being hit, so to be involved in an accident. Anyway, so this is, you know, according to the place you are, you know, there are rules you have to follow or not. But the idea is we want to promote this behavior. Move right, for example. If we were in England, move left. Otherwise, it would be a problem there. Exercise 30 minutes 5 times a week. We want to promote physical activity, but physical activity means a lot of different things. Are we talking about walking? Are we talking about swimming? Are we talking about household chores? It's all counts, okay? Everything counts. Everything counts. Gardening counts, yeah? Cleaning the windows counts. You know, dancing counts very well. Tango, bachata, all counts. Now, are we talking about minutes? Yeah, I mean, these are recommendations from, I don't know, Diabetes Federation, for example. 150 minutes per week, at least, they say. Okay, so we want to promote that behavior, not doing more physical activity. What is more for me, it's not more for you. It's not more for the person next to you, okay? Someone likes to swim, they should be able to say, I like to swim, let me do it. But it's not what we promote, no. Separate plastic from glass, fair enough, clear, recycle, yes, that's the first step one, let's say, but it's recycle what? No, recycle in general. Be more specific, separate plastic from glass, as an example. Don't drink and drive. If every time you drive, you don't drink. Or every time you drive, you don't drink. Every time you drink, you don't drive. Get screened for breast cancer. You know, there's been a campaign, you know very well, the last month, the breast cancer awareness campaign in this country. It's based, by the way, on social marketing principles. It's based on social marketing principles. So you'll be happy to say, you know, they are doing this. Customer orientation. It's an important principle because we have to think about our target group, our target audience. Who are we talking to? Are we talking to the population of youngsters from 20 to 25? There you go. What are the benefits they perceive? Why should they go voting? Why? What is in it for them? What do they gain? They gain pride, they gain status, the future, you know, but they might not think about that. So we need to ask them, why would they go voting or not? Because there might be barriers. So we need to realize that there might be barriers that are physical barriers. So there's a door stopping them to actually go to the electoral college. There might be, you know, if you walk in Beirut, you know what it means. There are really poles and holes, so you cannot really walk to the place. You need to have a car. That's another problem. So there are infrastructural problems, barriers that are put in between us and the behavior. There are also technologies that might prevent us or help us to achieve that goal. At the same time, we have our knowledge, we have our beliefs, the skills and abilities. Can we go? Can we go to vote? Are we able to? No, if I'm 18, I cannot, for example. I'm not able to vote. I'm not allowed to. The beliefs. I believe that voting is useless. If I believe that, I will never go to vote. So the initiative should be aimed to change my belief, saying, look, your vote counts. You can change everything if you want to. The culture also plays a role, of course. Our cultural boundaries set what we can do, what we cannot do, what we feel it's possible to do. In a society like this, some things are not allowed. It's implicit. You're not even asked the question, can we do or can we not do it? You just simply not do it. So these are all elements. And then, of course, socioeconomic status. I cannot afford to get screened for breast cancer, for example. How can I do it? I believe that it's good for me. I know it's good for me. I am even next to the healthcare center where I can get the screening for free. The screening, but I don't have money. It costs $40,000, I don't know, 40,000 liras. If I don't have that money, I cannot do it. Okay, so we need to take into account these barriers. We need to do this, understand what is the problem here. And we know that for the awareness that the screening is for free, at least till December, if I'm not correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. No. It should be till December. So from October till December, inclusive, I think.
But it's cheaper than.
It's cheaper, but I think it was even free. I'm not sure. They probably changed from last year. I don't know. Okay, let's assume it's not free. It's okay.
Government hospitals.
Sure, but it depends, of course, on what you're sustained by. But let's say it's a discounted price instead of the real price, so that you pay less, so you can afford it. It's better to some extent. Last thing, almost last thing. It's about research. We saw that this approach is based on research, but the main theory here is the so-called exchange theory. I give you something in exchange of something. So I give you a benefit in exchange of a cost. Benefits, based on social marketing, should outweigh costs. All right? I give you a discount if you go screen for breast cancer. It's either free or it's a discounted price. I make food, fresh produce, produced in Lebanon, cheaper than the one imported from Cyprus. I don't know, something like this. So you buy that because you get a discount. The cost, it's not only monetary. So it's not only what you pay out of pocket, it's also mental. What is the effort I need to do to get the fresh produce? I make it more available. Souk el Tayeb, sorry, my pronunciation of Arabic is bad. It's an example. The food, the fresh food, the good food comes to you. Well, you have to go to the market, but the same, it comes closer. It makes it easier. You can go get it, right? So your benefit, eating healthy, is achieved. The cost might be an issue, but maybe it's decreased, so you might feel more likely to buy it because it's good for you. Okay, so the benefits outweigh costs. Then there are other principles that say people need to be motivated. So we know that, everything. We need the motivation, right? So we need some push, an extra push. That's what we need. There are no environmental constraints. We have the necessary skills. We need to understand that the benefits outweigh the costs, so the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. We feel that everyone is doing it, so why shouldn't I do it? Everybody doing it, so let's do it. This behavior that we promote fits my self-image. Again, going back to the voting idea. If the people from the 20-25 segment of age don't believe that this is good for them, it's not cool to vote, they will not do it. They simply don't do it. That's one of the reasons why they probably want to not do it. They want to be independent, want to be anarchists. They don't want to do anything. They want to smoke because they want to be cool, not because they like the smell. Or they want to eat junk food because it tastes good, because of the lot of fats that we are inside. The emotional reaction should be more positive than negative. If I don't find it, exciting, if I don't find it nice, fun, I will not do it. I should take the stairs, the piano stairs, because it's fun. But where can I not find the piano stairs? I will not do it because it's boring. Why should I take the stairs? Plus, I have to fight gravity. Gravity is a big problem. You know, Newton said that, and it's not unusual. No, we have to fight our laziness, and it's not easy. So, why wouldn't I be looking for fun activities or motivations from emotional aspects of it? Okay. Fine, the competition. So what is the competition in terms of marketing?
The lead market.
Say it out, please.
No, I said the société de consommation.
Yeah, okay, that's one example. Very good. So the consumerism society, the society that pushes us to buy foods or goods. Other ideas? Companies, yes. It's companies that produce the goods that we don't want us to do. Let's say smoking industry, they want to sell British tobacco, or Philip Morris, they want us to buy their products and smoke. They don't want us to stop smoking. Lobbies, yes. Of course, these are, let's say, the ideas that come to our mind. In fact, it's true. This is an example. If we want to promote healthy food, we have in all supermarkets, everywhere, not only in Lebanon, to fight against giants of the food industry that have spent and still spend billions, trillions of money. There are even companies that sell these beautiful desks. If we promote physical activity and then we have our employees sitting or even sleeping all day because they have very comfortable desks, you know, what are we doing, you know? And this, by the way, it's not fake. It's true. You can buy it. You can buy it for, I think, $5,000, something like that. So imagine, you invest this instead of a car. Or, of course, we have the food industry. Food industry have a lot of money. They invested a lot to push sugar in our foods. And look at the expenditure of advertisements. So Pepsi Cola here. You have Nestle, Kellogg's, Kraft, Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is below here. But still, $1 million, okay, spent, I think, in 2014, yeah, in advertisements. Social marketers do not have that money. Do not have that money. We usually start with budget 0, and we reach the end maybe, you know, minus something, because we need to find creative ways to promote the behaviors that we care about, but at the same time we don't have the resources that the food industry or the petrol industry have. You know, so Volkswagen have a lot of money they can spend in creating the piano stairs. Even if they cover the entire city of Stockholm with piano stairs, they could do it. We cannot. Now, this is another problem. The behavior itself is difficult. So if you think about, I ate fries today, and I had to basically swim for 1 hour and 12 minutes for a small packet of fries. Oh my God. I usually walk, I don't even like to swim. So I have to walk for probably a day. A day, yes, to burn the calories that I ate. Sorry?
They have to avoid all these things.
No, I don't want to put it this way. I'm not trying to...
Lots of exercise.
Yes, of course. Now, if we think that every calorie we eat, we have to consume, we don't go anywhere. We don't go anywhere. So, but drink water, maybe eat air, that's it. No, you will be very thin. I'm not preaching that idea. But I'm telling you, the idea behind here, I want to highlight, is that behavior change is difficult. Sometimes I want to eat fries. Yalla, bring fries. But next time, probably I should think about it. Okay, I maybe eat half portion, so that I can eat something else at the end of the day. It's just a calorie balance. You need to know to self-regulate. But if we just base on the equality, so calories in, calories out, we will be doomed. We eat so much and then we don't exercise enough, so we don't need to become athletes. There's a marathon, yes, but we cannot burn everything, no? So the idea is that, so behavior change is difficult. We need to continue to do these things. So we want to eat healthy, we have to do it every day. It's for our future, it's for everything. We need to walk more. It's difficult, it's tough. That's why we need to have the marketing mix, the final part of the principle. So marketing mix means the following 4 principles. Product is the behavior, price, the benefits, the barriers, the costs. Then we have the place, where and when the behavior takes place. And then finally we have the promotion. Promotion is in fact the communication of it. So whether we use social media, whether we use posters, whether we use leaflets, whether we use handshakes, use kisses, we use, important figures of the political system or of the scene, or singers or other painters to promote our cause. So product is the behavior. So we are considering the behaviors we promote, we talk about the voting as a product. We have to sell the product. What is the price of the product? It's not only monetary, we saw that. It's mainly mental. The difficulties, the barriers that we think are in place. That's the idea. We want to sell the product with the right price. So a strategy could be, I want to increase your perception of value of that behavior. Showing you that if you vote, you will affect change. Show the example of last elections, for example. The amount of people that went to vote, it's an example, and then things have happened, things have changed. You have to show the good examples, of course, to incentivize. The place is where and when the behavior takes place. Now, with social media, we have the option of people performing specific behaviors wherever they are, on the mobile phones, on the streets, not necessarily in a specific place. So the voting occurs in the collegial vote. So you go in the school, in your district, and there where you go. But then the decision to vote may come everywhere. So you might say, well, I want to use Facebook, I want to use Snapchat, I want to use emails, whatever, or posters to get people hooked to my idea, to my product, voting, because it's free for you, it's good, you will see the benefits of it because you will change the society, you have a say in the society. And then that's how, so the communication. So with this, in summary, so these are the following are the questions that social marketers ask. You can also start thinking about. One is, what is the behavior? When we talk about it, what is the behavior? What are we willing to promote? This can go wherever, with your children, with your grandchildren. What are you trying to engage with? Yeah, everywhere it happens. Who's your target audience? So this again goes, what's the behavior you want to achieve with the target audience? Think about your children. What are their characteristics? Why are they behaving in a certain way? How can you motivate them to eat more veggies, fruits and vegetables, instead of fries? You don't show that slide before. Don't show them how many minutes of swimming they need to do. What are the benefits they can take? What are the barriers? Mental, physical, and so on. What is the competing behavior? So let's say in the case of voting is non-voting. In the case of being more active is being lazy, sitting, watching TV all day, playing with the computer, you name it. Eating fruits and vegetables versus non-eating fruits and vegetables, or eating sweets and desserts and things like that, yes. Smoking, non-smoking, and so on. Who are the influencers? You are the influencers. You are tetas and jedos, and you can say, hey, I know best. I've been there. You have experience, sure. You have experience and you know best. You can influence their behavior. They will model you. They'll say, my teta, my jedo is doing it. What theories can explain behavior? So, well, this is again a bit more complex, but let's keep it on that. What incentives can be provided? So if your children or if your grandchildren do it, what can you do? Only can you give them in exchange? Maybe not money, but maybe it's an idea. Be careful with the money, Because research shows that incentives might not be the best solution to achieve behavior change. Okay, they might not be in a solution, because when you remove the incentives, the monetary incentive, people stop doing it, stop doing the behavior. So if you give your granddaughters or grandchildren in general, you give money to do something good, they will do it probably for the money. But then after you stop, they stop doing it. They don't have the incentive anymore. As if you had, you pay taxes, and you have an incentive if you file the taxes before the deadline. Okay, you do it once, you do it twice. But then they remove the incentive, then you don't do it anymore. You don't have the incentive anymore. It's a human behavior, so be careful with the monetary incentives, but you can think about other incentives that can be beneficial for your target audience. Last, what is the communication strategies? What is the argumentative approach you have with your children or with your grandchildren? What would you tell them so that they can feel what they're doing is good? It's good for them, it's good for you, it's good for the society. Okay, so I'm closing here. So we went through what the definition of social marketing. I presented to you the social marketing as a discipline. I showed you that it can be effective in changing behaviors. At the same time, I showed you how it works based on the principles I show you. So based on the fact it's a process, so you have to go back and forth. It's based on the behavior. It's focused on the customers, so the target group. We want to understand from the target audience what we want to do. It's also based on the principle of exchange theory. I give you something in exchange, right? Then we want to base our decisions on the marketing mix, on the concept of product, price, place, and promotion. And that's basically, Sue? I heard something? No, okay. And this is how it's supposed to work. So we want to influence, want to change the way people think about the behavior, and we want them to voluntarily accept and do and change. Okay, with this I close, and I open up the session for discussions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is very academic, professional, but at the same time very, apprehensive. I felt that it's close as well to what we hear and see. But I have a question for you, which is regarding the slide before the slide before the last. Okay, there were these questions, but I think there is one question which is I can't see here. Who should be in charge of the social marketers? Why it is always the civic society group and rather than the government which should be? Because the cost effectiveness is not only at the individual level, but there are some societal kind of rewards behind this. So why there is no government? We don't see the government heavily involved in this.
The government is involved, can be involved. I showed you the case of the Change for Life from the UK. The government decided to say, we follow social marketing approach, we hire professionals that are able to do so and to identify the problem and so on, to answer those questions. Now, it's a voluntary decision from the government. Now, there are some colleagues of mine that work in Europe mostly, that are working with the governments, who are working with the decision makers at the European level, so not in each state, but a European Commission, to push social marketing as a framework so that they can think of developing and using it.
And if I may continue
Absolutely.
on the question, which party in the government you think, in your opinion, should be leading on this? I know this is maybe mostly for health, but do you think it's only the Ministry of Health?
No.
Which government?
No. Ministry of Health, of course, they might be interested for the health perspective, but you have education. If you think about schools, the Change for Life goes there.
It's more education.
It's education, it's work. Absolutely. So it entails more aspects, yeah? Education, we have health, social affairs, so environment. It depends, of course, on the type of behavior, yeah, on the scope of the initiative, but these tend to be, broader in inclusion. Yes, everything that, occurs. You mean, if you think about where we are facing issues we are facing. Everybody's facing issues in terms of aging society. We know it has an increased cost in health and for many different aspects. For example, policies that affect the aging population have not been fully discovered in Europe yet. What does this mean? How can we do it? How can you approach this societal change from a root perspective? So what can we do? I mean, if we were alone just to go and after these problems, we will never succeed. But there's a specific stream of researchers and social marketers that decided to focus on policymakers. So they want to change the policymakers, so that the decision and the behavior of the policymakers, so that we can now also do something individual level. So they want a top-down approach. They want to change the perception, so that we have to convince. We as a social marketers, we need to market ourselves. So we need to really promote our discipline. We need to make sure that the governments come to us and say, yes, let's do it this way. Let's follow this route. You have a question here?
You have mentioned powerful companies such as the pharmaceuticals, Coca-Cola, and beer companies, tobacco, etc. Each one is trying to convince the whole world to buy their products. Isn't it a matter of brainwashing? If it is in a way they're doing it in a sleazy way, who can control them?
Well, this is
the danger, pardon me, and the danger is, especially in this case, directed to the youth who are not mature enough.
It's a $1 million question. Now, I will try to answer by saying we need to be more aware of the power of advertising. We need to teach our children to judge what they see and to be critical about what they see. And this is difficult. I'm not saying it is easy. What they find online, what they find on the TV, what they find on their mobile phones, it's advertising. So we need to teach them, look, this is advertising. The scope of advertising is to sell the product. The companies want to buy the product, want you to buy the product. We need to be able to say, this is advertising. Should I believe it? Okay, so we need to be careful of that. And yeah, I agree with you. There's some sort of brainwashing. I mean, there's research in the past 60 years that shows the effect of media on public decision-making processes. Even, we know from recent examples how the use of media can influence political outcomes in a big country in the world. I don't mention which country, but you know what I mean. Yeah, yes, I didn't say that. Yeah.
Okay, I think that changing behavior should begin from home. I was in the field of education, I was a teacher, and at official schools they were trying to put the healthy shop, the Ketel Madrasa, instead of bringing manakish and chips and all this not healthy food. They try to bring, let us say, fruits, apples, bananas, and milk. But students come from home with unhealthy food. So what do you do? Things that should be clean from the government, from the top.
Yes. Yeah. So no, finish your question.
Okay.
Obama did it, and now they changed.
At homes also we are trying to make healthy living, but society is contradicting us all the time.
Yes.
So what do you think is the solution?
What you mentioned are all the barriers that you face. I mean, it's not one approach that starts from us and ends with us. We need to think about in a system way. We are living in societies and communities whereby we are members of a bigger environment. Okay, so we are affected by what happens around us. If we do a program just in schools, we fail to identify the problems that are at home, or that are in the environment. In the environment means that happens surrounding the school. Parental involvement is important. So, for example, the Change for Life I didn't have the time to mention that, but it's a like 360 degrees approach to the problem of eating well, moving more. So they involve schools, they involve restaurants, they involve neighborhoods, municipalities that say, okay, we try to modify everything around that. So the household is one problem. And we try to modify, let's say, the behavior of the, let's say, of the families. You know, the woman that cooks, the man who cooks, I don't know. I mean, the family itself is one thing, one element of the puzzle. Then we have the schools. Then we have the municipalities. Then we have the government. The government says, no, we need to put taxes now. You know, so all these need to be to happen simultaneously at the same time, or like more or less simultaneously, so that we can achieve the change we want. Because if we just say, okay, let's increase the taxes, I'm displeased because I need to pay more, but I don't understand why. If I do just an initiative in school and then at home I don't have the same principle, then children will come to school with their sweets and beverages, and so I will not affect it. If we do it only at home at the same time and at school it's not mandatory, then again it will not achieve the desired effect because it's not synergistic. You know, it's not an initiative that brings the change altogether. I don't know if that it's not an answer to your question, but because you mentioned all the barriers that we face every day, different levels. Now, the gentlewoman here mentioned Michelle Obama. Started the movement about to increase physical activity. Of course, now they reversed it because the next president, whomever is, they want to reinvent the wheel. And of course, it doesn't help all the time. It doesn't work. And they change. I brought an example. So one of the brands I showed you is called the Verb. Verb is also for physical activity among teenagers 11 to 15. It was until 2008 or something like this. Then again, the administration in the US changed and they canceled it.
But here you talked about sustainability.
Yes.
Here where we can see that.
That's a problem of sustainability. No, sustainability in terms of long-term behavior change, okay?
So what will happen? What can we say now in this case?
In that case, it's a problem. It's a problem of sustainability. That means that we cannot continue. We have to restart from scratch. Yes. If it
happens here with the smoking.
yes. For example, the tobacco-free initiative. Yes. Questioning. But I mean, it's a big problem anyway. Yes.
I have a serious problem because in this country
Yes.
there are so many problems, be it the garbage, be it the traffic, be it whatever it is, okay? And we have the solution, we as public, we have the solution. But our problem is our authorities. For example, if we take Beirut and there is a big campaign about the garbage, but the head of the municipality, he wants to install an incinerator. So what can we do? We understand all that you have presented, and this is something which is very logical and methodological and categorical. What can we do to influence these buggers who are responsible and who are really looking not for the interest of the community, not for the interest of the environment, not for the interest of saving funding, but they are still continuing with their selfish, irresponsible work. So what do you how do you deal with that?
Okay, I will give. It's not an easy question. Again, this is $2 million question. Yeah, they're very big problems. I try to give an answer by saying that we have a similar situation in Italy, whereby our government, our politicians are not really working for the state, for us, for the society, but it's our right to demand. They are our employees, actually. We voted for them, right? It's supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be like this. We are paying for their salaries, so that means that they are our employees. We need to change this idea. We need to go to them and say, hey, I am paying you to stay where you are, so you need to do what I want. I am your boss. So we need to change this idea. We are the bosses of our politicians. with this idea, we need to be activists. We need to become more involved in saying, in the res publica, like the Latins used to say, in what is public, it's us. So we need to exert our influence by saying, this is not right. You should do this for us. You should think about that. And then you see, next time you're a candidate, I'm not going to vote for you. Then there's a person following up. I'm not going to vote for you. Then I select the candidate that is doing what he's saying he's doing. Whether this is possible that it will happen in the next 10 years, I'm not sure. This is a change that the society takes probably 2 generations. Okay, we start from educate for now, and I mean to give you a shorter term solution. We need to educate our young generations to make them understand they will become the future decision makers. So if they know that what they're doing now will affect the future, they will become more responsible citizens.
Sir,
Yes.
I think it's the people, they're supposed to be educated.
Sure.
Yeah.
Education is an important aspect. Education is very important, yes.
All right,
We have
thank
a
you.
question. Yeah. Okay, more questions.